Only give one piece of advice today.
Business is a marathon and not a sprint, and I didn't truly realize it.
Trust your team. I want to have a team. You want to be the leader, and you want to show up as that leader every single day.
My realization is that realizing that doubling the business like month after month.
You can be doing 85% of it wrong and still hit 100K.
I'm just going to work really hard because I'm going to get to the point where I'm making like 50K a month or something crazy like that, and then I'll be fine.
I was working nonstop on the agent. If you want to have a 7-figure business, you have to first become a 7-figure human being. We went from 50 to 100K for like 45 days.
If I essentially said you could only give one piece of advice today, what would you give? Let's start with Neville.
I'm going to pass. Let someone go take that one.
I was like, I'm glad you didn't pick me first. Yeah.
Are you serious, Neville? Yesterday on the live, you dropped so much gold.
I'm trying. I got to think.
You're going hitting blanks now. I know Victoria's always got something.
You know I always got something.
Yeah, you're always ready to go.
All right. Okay, I'm going to go real quick, and I want you guys to think, because I honestly want to hear it. Neville, I want to know your story. I'm so proud of you. You're awesome. You're honestly kicking butt. And same for you, Luis. Like, I want to hear these things. So I'm just going to go real quick, and then I'm going to let you guys take over. But guys, what I would just say, before I even got to 100K, I was going by like the queen of organic because I love organic. But honestly, that's what PR is as well. It's leveraging organic. And so what I would say to you guys is make connections. Don't treat your leads like leads, treat them like human beings. And I think that's why I made it to where I'm at today so quickly, is because I just took every client as like, I want to do a good job. And now my business is mostly referrals, to be honest with you. So I'm still like organic central, because do a good job and treat people like people. Don't treat it like, oh, I just got another sale, now on to the next. Like, yes, you got another sale, but treat your client with respect. You're going to get referrals from there, which is something you don't have to pay for. And you're going to get a lot further quicker because your reputation is going to spread more rapidly. So people are going to come to you, because at the end of the day, when you're on these sales calls, some of the objections you're going to get is, why should I trust you? Why should I go with you? If their friend referred you, you're not going to get that objection. If you do a good job, you're not going to get that objection. So that's my one advice for you guys, is build these relationships, treat people like people, and do a good job.
Freaking love that. All right, Neville, back to you. What you got?
I think I'm going to go classic and say, really trust your team. Trust your team, work on that team, develop the habits with the team, invest in the team. Like, really have the mindset of, I want to have a team and I want to be the leader, and you want to show up as that leader every single day. I'll say that's the number one thing that's probably empowered me on my journey. I've become a lot more of a leader these last few months, dealing with all the different situations that happen with clients and, maybe even platforms making changes. And then also, knowing that we still are growing and bringing in more people. So really investing time into, when I first started bringing on more team members, I wasn't really investing that time into them. And it was starting to show in the business. Months were coming in a little bit slower. Things are all over the place. And it's like, you're expecting everyone to know what to do, but they don't, right? So the same way how in sales, you want to practice your sales, the basketball player practices their free throws. You want to get them in the habits of doing the things that they need to be doing every single day, So whether that means you taking some time out of your day to ensure that that's happening, with, booking some time in the schedule for it to happen, or empowering your team members to empower others on your team as well. So empowering my team members has been huge. Investing in them, even then coming to the weekly account management call has been huge for them, right? They don't feel like they're alone with all the situations. Like, I know every 100K a month owner here is not going to tell me that their business is just smooth and it's just all cakes and rainbows. It could get pretty ugly in there sometimes, okay?
Real ugly.
Having that team in place will really keep you grounded. Yeah.
I love that. Luis, I know you wanted extra time, so you can go last, Luis.
No, I was gonna say I should have gone first, Neville, because that was pretty much what I was gonna say.
Yeah, you can't steal Neville's answer either.
Well, no, because I guess for me, well, is it okay if I go?
Yeah, and then we'll go to George.
Yeah, I mean, kind of just to riff off that, because I think for me, like one of the biggest, it's basically the same thing. It's just said a little bit differently, guys. Which for me, my realization is that realizing that I was the bottleneck, which then leads to focusing on your team, right? So like really just kind of to the realization I think for when I first jumped on and I had that first initial conversation with Joel, it was identifying that I was the bottleneck in sales, right? And I think once I removed myself from that process, that's when we really just started like doubling the business like month after month, right? And so ever since then, I've just tried, like for me, it was really difficult to want to step back because, you know, we had built a brand, my wife and I, and we really cared about that brand, and we really cared about the image and the service that we were going to be providing for our clients. And for us to kind of give that, give some of that power of, mainly communicating with clients and stuff like that to just other people. And then even in the sales process as well, was a big kind of mental paradigm shift that we had to go through as we were growing. And so literally from experiencing that, now to having 2 agencies and having more than 30 people in our team, it's like, what, you know what I mean? Like, and it's literally just been that. And so every time I try to look at it, like, how can I quickly remove myself from this process, as fast as possible? Because at the end of the day, you can always find somebody that does it better than you, or you can train them to do it, exactly the way you want it to, and then they'll do it better than you eventually, because that's all they're doing, right? And through repetition, they'll gain expertise. And so, yeah. So again, like, try to remove yourself from the process as much as possible. And the more you're willing to let go and build your team from that aspect, right? That's what's going to help you get to 100K plus as soon as possible. So, yeah.
I love that. George.
Yeah. So the biggest takeaway for me was, or advice to everyone, is do not get overwhelmed with the size and scope of what you can do, right? There's so many things in this program. It's just you, even if you have multiple team members, like, you only need 1 or 2 things from this program to really click to scale to 100K. We're not doing 90% of the stuff in this program, right? I could literally rattle off tons of things that we're not doing well, even at over 100K. But the difference was we found 1 or 2 things that really worked, that accelerated our growth. So it's easy to get overwhelmed at the beginning and try to do every single strategy, but doing 20 strategies and spreading out your time across 20 things may not be as good as focusing on just a few. So try not to get overwhelmed, try to segment and figure out what the quick wins can be, and what plays to your skill sets and strengths, and focus on that, because you can be doing 85% of it wrong and still hit 100K. I mean, I was going back and forth with Omir on Facebook, and there's 150K a month that we're losing just in lack of follow-up, lack of nurturing, lack of a lot of stuff that's all in the program. We're just not doing it. So just focus on 1 or 2 things, and if they click, you can really take off.
I think that's really powerful. Just to recap for you guys, it seems like it's a combination of focus. It's a combination of taking care of people, whether it's your clients or your team. The other big thing that clicked for me is creating leverage. So you could have leverage by focusing and going all in and creating compound effect. You can have leverage by investing into people that allow you to scale. But I always like to say, guys, you can't actually hit 100K a month if you don't create the space to do so. And the only way to have enough space is through people, and through leverage, and through systems, and through things like ads. So it's really fascinating that you guys all kind of touched on those things. Speaking about hardships and the struggle, Neville, I know you mentioned it's not, rainbows and butterflies all the time. Something that I see happen a lot in this group is that we all see the wins, right? The wins are exciting. My team posts them on the Instagram stories. It's awesome to share the growth. But something that I really want to bring to the table is that every single person that is hitting those numbers also went through periods of insane struggle and through insane challenge. And it wasn't always easy. And even now, you guys sharing your successes and hitting 100K a month, it may still not be easy. And the challenges are still there. Can you guys share maybe and I feel free to be as open as you want. And obviously you can keep things private if you feel like that resonates with you more, but could you guys maybe share your biggest struggle through this journey to get to 100K a month? If you feel comfortable.
You want to go reverse order? I can start.
Reverse order. Yeah.
Let's do it.
that.
Okay. So, I mean, for me, I have a wife, I have 2 little kids, that are, 2 and 8 months. And, the biggest struggle has just been finding a work-life health balance in general. Like if you want to go all in, like if you want to expedite things, you really gotta either have the money to expand your team and leverage very quickly, or you have to put in the time, or a combination of both. And I kind of took the combination of both route, but definitely, impacts relationships with different folks, impacts your health, stress levels. I think that's the biggest thing. Like no time to exercise. Like I'll be working till 10, 11 o'clock at night. So when you look at like, what am I making per hour? It's lower than it might seem, until you hire out the team and build out the process. So I haven't had as much struggle with fulfillment or other things like that. Probably hiring, but the biggest thing for me, just because of my family situation, was definitely the work-life kind of family health balance.
Yeah, and I think that's huge. For sure, man. Anyone else want to go?
When you say like struggles, do you mean like current struggles, or like struggles during the the evolution of it?
Luis, that's a great question. I think mainly I see in this group that there's so many wins, and I would love to show everyone here that even the people that are winning at the highest levels experience very difficult moments in the journey. So
Sure.
pretty much sharing anything that you want around that. It could.
Yeah. I think for me, like I've been at this for a very long time, guys. Like I'm not new to the agency game. Like I've had an agency since I was like 20, and while I was in college, right? I've had different evolutions of an agency, from graphic design to full service to, software engineering, to now just like lead gen, right? And so I've been at it like for more than a decade, and it was very startup culture, right? Grew like literally I was broke for the majority of those years. I really don't think we started making like any money until maybe like 2 to 3 years ago. Prior to that, it was like having 1 meal a day, working 16 hours, 12, 16-hour days, sleeping under my desk, like real startup tech style, like everybody's living in a house. And I would sleep on the floor, like literally. And so it took a lot of time, a lot of hard work until we finally like figured it out, right? And so obviously there's all these struggles that go through there. But even once I did start back in the lead gen agency game in 2017, we were always growing, but it was just, I would see all these people like, kind of who had started way before I did, and also were like getting, faster results than I was. And it was just always like, man, like I'm tired of just being at 20K reoccurring. I'm tired of just being at 30K reoccurring. And I mean, there was reasons for that. We were focused on some other things like building our team, building our brand, like all that stuff. But, just so like, I guess that, with that being said, like respect the time that it takes, and don't be super like obsessed about me. Or like, I know obviously 100K sounds super nice and fancy and everybody wants it, right? But like also appreciate the journey and the person that you're going to become during those hard times, maybe where you're not, maybe you're at, you've been trying really hard, you just can't get past 50K or whatever that, that bottleneck might be for you, right? But respecting the time and what it takes to actually help you become the person you need to become, or the leader that you need to become, so that when you do get, because you will get to it if you don't give up, right? Just keep at it. And so, but then once you get there, you're just going to be like this whole new evolved person that's going to be able to deal with the stress, with the ability to lead the team, whatever it is, right? To kind of sustain that growth, because there's a lot of people that get it, but then can't sustain it, right? And part of that is like, I guess what I just kind of to riff on the whole thing about never giving up. Like for me, that's, I think in 2020 was the first time, we hit 100K, and it was amazing and it was awesome, right? We bought a house, we bought the car, like, you know what I mean? Like, the life, right? And, but it was also literally the toughest year I've ever had, personally. I think that probably goes the same for a lot of you guys considering, COVID, but literally when we had just doubled the business in February, I had just joined like Joel's program, like in January. We were at 25K in February. We had hit 50K. And then that same month, I got a phone call that my dad was diagnosed with cancer, right? And like brain cancer. And so that was like obviously a big hit. COVID happens. We keep doing well. Business, the whole country shuts down, right? Like starting another business. Like honestly, there's like a ton of things that happen even throughout, like at the end of the year, my dad, like in December, my dad ends up getting COVID as well. He pulled through. He's still good, right? But like that was just a ton of things that kind of escalated, and it was just like trial after trial after trial. And it's crazy to think back that like we literally did all these things in our business, but yet it was still the toughest year that we've ever had. And so like going back to what Joel said, like a lot of time you guys see like us posting our wins and, the screenshots and what have you, the nice car, the fancy house, whatever. But there's a lot of trials that go behind that. And that's why, going back to the whole thing about leverage and building your team, like I would have not been able to take the entire month of December off to take care of my dad if we didn't have that team there, because our business still ran, we still generated revenue. And so, I mean, obviously, like, again, going back to the whole team thing and all that stuff. But yeah, I mean, hopefully that, inspires you guys a little bit to just, no matter what the circumstance, like to just keep pushing as much as you can. And if you really want it, you just got to get after it. Right. So, yeah, hopefully that, helps out a little.
Luis, I really want to just thank you for sharing that. I think it definitely inspires all of us. And for me personally, my biggest takeaway from what you just shared was respect the time that it takes, because some of you guys may see people like even me blowing up so quickly, but truth be told, I had been doing marketing for years, and I had been running my family's business's Google ads since I was like 18. So it may seem like I scaled my agency in 2 years, but I had been investing in myself and building the skills for much, much longer. And there's always that context that isn't really shown when you see the screenshot. So like, for example, when you joined, you were at like 20, 30K a month, but you already knew everything else required to run an agency. And I just had to point you in the right direction of how to focus your time and energy to really be able to scale. But everything else, like sales, marketing, everything, client results, everything else was already checked off. So yeah, Victoria, back to you.
Yeah, that was very powerful. And I mean, I guess I say the same as the two guys, guys, please just be mindful and of this. I'm going to tell you this because this was my big aha moment. And maybe this is you. If this is you, I was right there with you. So I really thought, because I saw all these ads and because I saw all these like amazing screenshots, I thought, you know what? I'm just going to work really hard because I'm going to get to the point where I'm making like, 50K a month or something crazy like that. And then I'll be fine. I really thought that in my head, that like all I had to do was work an X amount of time and then I'd be smooth sailing and I'd have the big car and I'd have nice clothes and then that was it. And then one day it clicked and I realized this is just how it's going to be. I'm never going to get to a point where I'm going to be like, oh, it's okay, it's smooth sailing. This is my life now. This is normal. And it was that realization where that was the biggest realization I think that I want you guys to come with. You may think like we're at 100K, like, wow, our lives are so great. They're still very hard. It's still no different than when I was at 50K or 25K. I still do the same thing. I wake up every morning. I have my daily rituals. to keep me grounded. So I do have my balance of, well, so sort of balance of personal, taking care of myself, and then getting into business, you know? And so it's not going to be easy. You're not going to reach 100K and think, okay, my life is easy. I want you guys to accept that if you want to be a serious business owner, it's day in and it's day out of hard work. You just get better at managing your stress, and you get better at managing your team, your finances, everything that comes with having a big business. So that is my big thing that I wish somebody would have told me when I was first starting, is it's not just wait till you make 50K or something and then your life's going to be great. No, this is your new life. And if you want to sustain your business, then this is how you're going to sustain it, is realizing that day in and day out. The reason why we're here today and why there's only 4 of us here today at the 100K mastermind is because we're not trying to go after the quick buck. You see so many people, I made 25K this month, and then we don't hear from them again. It's crickets, because they couldn't sustain it, because they weren't building a real business. So what I'm here to tell you is invest in building a real business. And that starts with realizing that it's going to be day in and day out, and you're going to do a great job for your customers, because that's how you're going to stay in business and become number 1 or 30 in your niche and get that longevity.
I love that. I think I thought that too, honestly, like, oh, once I hit this level, it all goes away. But like Jim Rohn says, don't wish things were easier. It's really just about getting better. And I think the challenge, the struggle, it doesn't disappear. If anything, it might be even greater with more responsibility, but you just get better at handling it. Neville.
Yeah, no, I think everyone kind of touched in on that. And it's very interesting to see that everyone kind of feels the same way about that subject. I want to start by saying, when you see someone post over 100K a month, that's not take home. You know what I'm saying? Let's start there. That's not
powerful. That's good.
That's something that I think anyone, like when you see any guru posting any numbers on anything, even if it's e-commerce, you automatically assume that, oh my God, like, wow. No.
Neville, that is so much truth.
Yeah, that's I think the biggest thing. You get to 100K, you're not walking in your bank account with 100K in your pocket. Okay, you have a team now. You're running ads.
And you have a business partner. It's called the IRS.
Oh yeah, 30%.
30%.
By default.
No matter what.
So that's the big one for me. Because when you, and then also
Wow.
I'll touch in on what Louis said as well, because that's a big one. I feel like when you see other people posting and you are working so hard and you feel like you've been showing up every single day, and then you're still not there yet, and you're like, oh, that should be me. Like, I'm right there. Come on. Why is this happening to me? Why am I the one that isn't able to get there? No, you're going to get there. It's really just what has to happen, because in order to actually even sustain the business when you get to that level, you need to jump through certain hurdles. There has to be, by the time you have a team member that's asking, what do I do for this situation? Boom, you should already have an answer for the most part, because you've been there, you've done that, and you have to walk that walk before you can actually lead the way. So that's probably how I would sum it up. Everyone kind of touched in on what I was thinking, but I want you guys to also consider, like, if you really want to make 100K, you probably need to make at least 200K. if you have decent profit margins
or more.
Yeah, or more. Exactly. It really depends on the profit margin. The average business is only like 30% is like profit for like a person, right? In the agency space, something like that. So
scale for sure. Yeah. I mean, especially if you want to maintain your sanity. Because you can profit more, but then you're just miserable working all the time. Your relationships suffer. Like we've been all saying, everything kind of goes down the hill. So no one can sustain profit margins over 50% if the goal is to scale while maintaining a healthy life. It's just, I don't know.
It's very powerful to invest in your team. Like, one thing I would add to this is there were months recently where people on my team took home more money than I did. Like, multiple team members were making more money in their bank account than I've been making certain months. Which you see the numbers and you're like, oh, these people are making money, but it all depends on how you manage your business and how you scale it and how you grow. And like Victoria was saying, if you don't invest a lot back into it, you're not really going to go very far. unless you put it all into some random, altcoin and it goes to the moon, you're most likely not going to be able to sustain it long term.
Neville, I really want to give you a shout out for bringing that to the table. That's something that I should also talk about more. I just haven't thought about it too much, honestly, but I think it's really powerful. We all see the numbers. It goes a little bit deeper than that. You got to pay like team, ads, the government.
If you have any training, like to just your mentors,
like even all right, even the 30% profit margin, then you're paying 30% taxes on that profit. So let's say that like for example, with Atlas, when we first hit 100K, our profits were about 50%, 40 to 50%. All right. So now we're just instantly down to like 40 to 50K take home. Then I have to split it with Marco as a business partner. So now I'm down to like 20 to 25K take home. Then I got to pay 30% taxes on that, plus 5% state tax. So I'm down even more. That's just the truth. So I appreciate that. By the way, guys, Jared is in the house. Jared, what's going on, man?
Guys, I'm so sorry.
Were you here since the beginning or no? You just got in.
I got in at like 2:15. I'm so sorry for being late, guys. I had a prior meeting. I really apologize, but I'm so honored to be on here.
Yeah, no worries,
Dude,
guys.
I've seen you in forever, man.
I know it's been a while. Wait, Jeremy, one sec, guys. I just want to welcome Jared. He just crossed 100K a month like 60 days ago, maybe. Like, was it like 2 months ago, 1 month ago?
Yeah, 2 months ago.
But we never did the official 100K a month interview with him. So I wanted to bring him back, as well as Victoria, obviously, because you were both a part of our 50K a month roundtable. So it's just super, super amazing to see you guys here at 100K. And with that in mind, Jared, I want to turn it over to you. What would you say? Can you share a little bit about the struggle on the journey to 100K a month?
Yeah, 100%. And guys, Joel told me one time, it was around like November, I think. And I was going so fast into the program. I was investing right back into the agency. I was trying to scale so fast to 100K. That's what I wanted to do because I wanted to exit as soon as possible. Well, exit myself out of the business, right? And for about 3 years, I was working nonstop on the agency. And I thought that was a long time. But, Sergio always says, business is a marathon and not a sprint. And I didn't truly realize it. The reason why I kept investing back into the agency was because I thought it would grow faster. And it did. It did grow pretty fast. But the one thing that I didn't realize is, just like Joel always says, if you want to become a 7-figure human being, if you want to have a 7-figure business, you have to first become a 7-figure human being. And to be honest with you, I couldn't become a 7-figure human being because my mental health wasn't there. I was working nonstop in my business. School was not a thing. I did not do school. Tests, I want to say so much stuff about my teachers, but I'm not going to say it, right? We're going to keep it PG. I didn't hang out with my friends. I'm actually in New York right now with some of my friends that I've had since high school. And they know, I did not hang out with them. I didn't do anything with them for the first few years of my business. The only time I ever did something was when I needed them to help me record an ad for the agency. And to be honest with you, it was not good for my mental health whatsoever. So in November, I think Joel, we had the conversation and you told me, dude, calm down, relax, chill out. I don't even know if you remember this, but you said, don't go full steam ahead so fast. And I was like, what the hell do you mean, Joel? I thought you said money loves speed, but he was so right. It's okay to take the weekends off. It's okay to enjoy yourself, to live the life that you want to live to an extent while still working on your business. You can balance both, but you have to focus on your mental health. And that's the one thing that I struggle with big time. And once I started taking the weekends off, once I, went to Mexico on the IC Mastermind, amazing trip. If you guys are not in IC, gotta come next time. And
don't say that to Neville, because I know he had major FOMO because his passport did not come in time.
I saw the video, Jared. It looked nice. He had the cigar. It was nice. It looked great. It looked great.
Dude, it was a blast. But dude, we'll definitely meet up at the next one. But guys, like I wasn't able to truly, I was stuck at like the 50K mark for like 4 or 5 months because I didn't know how to become a 7-figure human being because mentally I wasn't there. I was depressed. I was sad. I was working nonstop all day. I went to bed with my laptop. And when I stopped doing that stuff, that's when we blew up. We went from 50 or 60 to 100K in like 45 days. When I started taking time off for myself, for my mental health, when I found a hobby, I didn't have a hobby. Guys, throughout high school, I was working on businesses. That was my hobby. I didn't know what I enjoyed, to be honest with you. When I actually found what I started enjoying, horseback riding, going to the shooting range, fishing, that's when I really, really leveled up. And that's just what I want to say to a lot of you guys, because it's really important to keep moving forward with your business and to invest back into your agency and spend time on it. But you always have to remember, guys, you have a family, you have friends, you have a life too. That's it.
Wow. I feel like we should just end the call. Like that was amazing,
Reach.
man. Yeah. That's really powerful, Jared. I want to just give you like just a massive shout out. You're such an inspiration, especially at such a young age, to be this mature, to be this wise, to be this successful. Like just know that you're one of a kind. And I don't even know what to say, man. You leave me speechless.
Dude, I owe a lot of it to you, man, and else in this community. So
I appreciate that, man, so much. And I think you're so right. And we talked about this last Friday. I know I haven't been the best role model to show people that it is okay to live your life and grow your business. And that's something that I'm stepping into as a leader. But I think you're so right, man. If we get to the point where we're growing our business, but doing so in sacrifice of life, then what's the point? And what's fascinating is that when you focus on your life while continuing to grow your business, it seems like the business actually grows faster. So I really appreciate you for sharing that message, man. It takes a lot of courage and power. So big shout out to you, man. Guys, we got about 20 minutes. What I want to do, some rapid fire Q&A, but we're going to do it a little bit differently. What we're going to do is we're going to have people drop their questions in the chat, and I'm going to have one person answer each question. So not everyone will get to answer each question. It'll be one person at a time. So for example, Jared, you would answer question 1, Victoria question 2, George question 3, et cetera, et cetera. Now, before everyone starts dropping their questions in the chat, please ask good questions. Here's what I mean. These guys are doing 100K a month. They've been through a lot. They've learned so much. They've really grown, not only as human beings, but as entrepreneurs. Don't ask them about how to install a pixel. You can look that up later. Don't ask them about something that you can easily get the answer to any other time. That's my challenge to you guys. So, all right, let's get started. Let's see. Letting the business take anything. All right. I think Cass, and I don't really understand your question. If you want to rewrite it, I'm happy to answer it, but let's go to Rohan. How do you hire great people? And let's just do it in reverse again. So Jared, you go first. Rapid fire though, 30 seconds or less.
All right. So first and foremost, Rohan, you have to level up and you have to be an A player yourself in order to attract other A players, right? Right now, my agency's automated. I got off a phone call today with my leadership team and I just told them, guys, just take it, just deal with it because they know what to do. They've leveled up themselves. So first you have to level up yourself and you'll attract A player talent.
Love it. Let's go. How do you control yourself from working way too much when you need to make X amount to stay in the agency game? Let's go to Victoria.
Okay, well, I would say that is self-imposed limitation. You're saying I have to make so much to stay in the agency game. That's not true. You're making that limitation on yourself. And what same limitation you can make is something higher as well, or something lower as well, right? And it's this whole thing we say about your mental health. People can smell desperation on the phone. So if you're saying, oh, I got to close X amount, or I have to stay in the agency game, guess what that prospect's saying? You're not confident in yourself, you're weak, and I don't want to do business with you. Right? So to remove this barrier, if you have to make X amount, and just say like, I'm here to do a great job for my clients. At 10 p.m., my whole screen goes black, no notification, so I can sleep, right? And this is what I mean. You need to, we live in this day and age where we're available 24/7. Do not be available 24/7. Okay. You don't have to respond to that Facebook message from somebody saying they need something from you. First of all, your client shouldn't even be messaging you on Facebook. So it's just about setting parameters of this is what I will handle and this is what I will not handle, and sticking to your ground.
I love that. All right. I think Neville, then Luis, then George. Neville, are DM's outreach dead? You're muted, my friend. Neville, you are muted.
Sorry about that.
No, you're all good.
DM pitches. I mean, no, I don't think it's dead. I just think it's just recreated. Whatever is in right now is in right now. You know, LinkedIn still works. There's just a strategy around it. I think everyone can agree that, you know, going and trying to sell to someone without actually building that relationship is going to be challenging. So if you guys are still taking that approach from the jump with your DM pitches, then you can't expect to get ridiculously amazing results every single time. But you take a little bit more relationship-based approach where you maybe try to warm them up, maybe provide some value if you can, and show them that you're actually in for the long term and not just for the quick buck that you get for the first 3 months. And the people will start responding. I think people can see those pitches and they don't want to respond. So you don't want to make it look like it's a direct pitch, right?
Neville, I also like what you said on the Facebook Live yesterday. If you're going to do cold outreach, the idea is you want to get your offer in front of as many people as possible. So can you just touch on that super quickly?
Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, anyone here who's doing over 100K, I doubt they're just running ads on one platform, or they're just, they're not doing any other forms of outreach. There's multiple channels that are being run consistently every single day. And the whole goal is to just get in front of as many people every single day with your offer that's proven to convert. By default, by the numbers, you're going to get people to opt in. You're going to get people who want to have a conversation with you. And ultimately, you're going to get more sales. So honestly, I guess that was good to wrap it around. If you're still spending too much time worrying about DMs, I would say also try to figure out other ways to get more clients from other platforms, right? That can give you a bigger return on
ads? Paid ads?
Yeah, paid ads. Straight up. Paid ads. Run it on Facebook, run it on YouTube, run it on LinkedIn. Keep it going. Spend as much as you can.
I love it. All right, let's go to Luis. What was the one thing? Paid ads, hiring a VA, getting a sales coach, meditation, LSD. I didn't put that in the question, by the way. Someone else did. But what was the one thing? If you had to, and I know we kind of answered this at the beginning, but maybe we can answer it from more of a technical perspective. What was maybe one decision that you made or one technical switch that really exploded everything?
Join 7FA. Nah.
I mean, you can say that. That's cool. I mean, we're here.
Well, that, and then the conversation, right, which kind of came back down to spend more money on ads and get somebody to do sales. I can do sales. The problem is that I'm an introvert. So like after I would spend like an hour and a half on a phone call trying to close somebody. And then after that, I needed to go like curl in my bed, like I was just done. Right. So obviously I couldn't scale it. So for me, it was like removing myself from that process, finding a salesperson, being okay with bringing on a salesperson. Cause at first I was scared that like, a salesperson's going to come in with that, crazy over the top personality that I frankly find annoying. And they're going to want to do all this crazy stuff with my business and they're going to mess stuff up. Right. We have nothing could be further than the truth. We have amazing salespeople that are empathetic and love us as people and love our clients as well. And they really want to help them get amazing results. So removing myself from that process, and then as soon as I could, just spend crazy amounts of money on Facebook and advertising. For those of you guys, I mean, like, yeah, like we spend between 20 to like 30K. Well, I mean, we actually spent a little bit less this month, but when we had those massive growth spurts, like we were spending that amount. So like $500, $1,000 a day. Don't be afraid to spend the money if you know you're going to get that return, right? So
I love that. I remember that conversation. I was like, Luis, if you want to get to 100K a month, just get a salesperson and run ads. Everything else is good to go.
You literally said, oh, so you're telling me that you're your own bottleneck, right? And I'm just like, fuck, dude.
Yeah, I remember that combo.
That's like that's why I always say like Joel just kind of slapped
on the record. Luis is so good at client fulfillment, at taking care of his clients, at doing amazing work, at the relationships. I'm like, you just got to sell more. That's it. And it can't be you doing it. So, because you run out of time. All right, George, let's go to you. What is your current 5-year goal?
Current 5-year goal. By the way, everything was said is just true. Paid ads, hire a salesperson, same for me. 5-year goal. I'm actually bringing on an equity partner. We're closing actually in 40 minutes as soon as this is over. And the goal is to build up the agency longer term contracts. So get from 3-month to 12-month contracts, because the contract term really dings your valuation when you get into it. And we want to get more enterprise clients, increase the average value of our customers, and get to 10 million a year in revenue, and then see what happens.
And then is your goal to sell? Sounds like.
Yeah. Depending on the situation and the timing and everything else. But yeah, I mean, I don't. I'd love to have a lifestyle business forever, but I think it's a lot of sacrifice and a lot of time. And if you exit properly, you can get a lot of that time back. So that's my goal.
I love that. Really awesome. Thank you for sharing. All right, Luis, right back to you. This is perfect. Someone asked, I want to hear more about how people knew they were the bottleneck and what that meant and how they removed themselves. So maybe can you share? I mean, I told you were the bottleneck and you kind of told me. That's how we found out. But how would you, if someone is right now kind of getting in the way, how would you help them diagnose that and start to work around that?
Well, I mean, part of it is having the self-awareness, right? But how do you have self-awareness? By asking yourself really good questions, right? Like you have to take that step back from your business and look at it from an objective standpoint. I think this is something where a lot of people fail to do. Because like really, like, I mean, I don't know if you should, if you're in this type of business, you should be doing this for your clients, right? You should be helping them reverse engineer growth in their business. So what does that mean? That means that you have to look at their entire sales funnel and then dissect all the numbers, what margins they're supposed to be getting, so on and so forth, right? That same process, you do that with yourself, right? And you have to take that step back and really figure out, okay, well, where are the issues, right? I say this to my clients all the time, like business is just a big math equation, right? If you want the final variable or, the answer, whatever, to be 100K, whatever the number is for you, then all you need to do is mess with the variables just a little bit to finally help you get there, right? And so all it is tweaking those variables, and me removing myself from the sales process was that variable. Like, and honestly, all Joel did, I mean, it's not like Joel, did some magic, you know what I mean? Like he just asked me very simple questions, and that's all it is. And so like, you can if you really want to, you can ask yourself those questions. Personally, for me, what helps me is that sometimes I'm just telling people, like, for example, my wife, like I'm telling her what my problem is, and she doesn't even need to say something to me. It just comes to me like as I'm talking or as I'm hearing myself say those things, all of a sudden like, oh, that's where it is, right? So that process in itself helps me take a step back so that I can hear my thoughts, and then kind of like it's like there's two me's at that point, if that makes sense. I know it's kind of weird.
It makes a lot of sense. I think it just comes down to self-analysis and asking really good questions. Like, for example, Bond, you can ask yourself, where am I spending most of my time every day? You can do a task audit and actually see, okay, this is what I do all the time. So that's a good example. All right, let's go to Neville. What is your or let's see where it is. What's your daily routine look like?
Oh, damn, that's a good one. So I'm someone that definitely struggled with my daily routine. I think I could take from Jared's playbook. Anybody who's probably starting out probably went through the same exact thing, or is currently going through the same exact thing, where you're working so many hours and literally like a laptop there, maybe not even being productive, but trying to pull and just to do something, because the list is just piling up. But one of the things that I did to help me with that was actually I structured a pretty solid day. Everyone thinks they need to wake up extremely early every single day to have a productive day, but that's not the truth. You just need to sleep enough where you're optimal enough to perform efficiently and to show up. And really, you could wake up if you want to have, like, for instance, I have my first team meeting at 9 a.m. in the morning. So before 9, I'm probably up no later. If I'm really tired, I'll wake up by 8. You know what I'm saying? And just chill, relax. I like to, actually plan out what my day is going to look like the day prior, so I already have an idea of what I'm walking into. I like to listen to some affirmations to help me get good mentally. And then, I'm off to the races. I make my coffee. I have my tea, and I'm ready to go. And then from there, 9 to 10, I'm doing my thing. And then at that point, after 10, I have a sales team meeting, quick 30-minute meeting where I go on with them, and I just pretty much work with them for a little bit. And then from there, then I have my morning power activities, which is a nice 30 minutes where I just pretty much handle any pending tasks that I have. So if I have emails I need to send out, or, something that I have to reply to for a team member or whatever, that's the time where I block it out and I do that. Then for the next 30 minutes to an hour is when I just check up on the ads, since we just marketing in general and advertising. So everything that I'm doing in marketing, and advertising, whether it's on LinkedIn or it's, LinkedIn ads, or it's Facebook, anything that has to do with the advertising of like the company, that's the time that I check that stuff. Then, after that, probably work a solid 3-4 hours block, and then I'm take a nice hour break. And I come back in for the second half of the day, and I have like an account manager meeting where I go through all the stuff with them and listen to their shit in a good way. And then from there, we go through everything, troubleshoot. And then at that point, I spend the rest of the day. I like to chill. Now, before it was ridiculous where I was trying to fit all that stuff in, plus taking sales calls, plus taking account manager calls, and it was absolutely ridiculous. Of course, obviously the time difference is now, instead of taking sales calls, I've replaced it with taking a sales meeting with my team, same for account management. Instead of speaking directly to all these clients, I just speak directly to my account management team,
You went from employee of your own business to CEO.
In a sense, yeah, I guess. Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Now you just got to get the chairman.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. We're working our way up. But and now
that's Jared. That's Jared.
Yeah,
Jared's
he's chairman status. He's chairman. That's a fact. That's a fact.
He just looks at the P&L. That's it.
That's good. I'm a marketing manager away from being there. That's it. That's literally the only thing I really feel like I still need to show up for. But
I love that.
Yeah, but
that's really good stuff. I loved what you said about the morning. I think everyone sees Alex Hormozi wake up at 4, and you're like, okay, I need to wake up at 4. But you don't realize he goes to sleep at 8 p.m. And if you want to have any form of normal life, you can't do that. But I love that. You got to find what works for you, and you got to take care of yourself.
Yeah.
So.
I will add to, 4 times a week, since like some people might not actually like have it in them to wake up every single morning and go to the gym or exercise throughout the day because of how busy your schedules can be. What I did is I actually got a personal trainer who pretty much beats me up 4 times a week and makes sure that I get my workout in. And I'm going to make sure I get it regardless. I block out an hour in my day. You can't BS an hour to just get it in. So if you need an extra push, I would say a good life hack, definitely, you have some leverage, do these little things. Like, if you need to hire like a personal trainer to help you maintain, continue on your physical journey. Or if you also maybe want to hire like a chef, if you think you might be eating bad, maybe hire freaking, meal plans or something. There's leverage that you can do to allow you to perform more efficiently, So, yeah. That's all I got.
I love that. Me and JR, and then we'll go right to Victoria. Me and JR were talking the other day how we invest so much into our business, but not into our life. So we're even thinking about getting coaches for our hobbies. So for example, Jared, you said you got some hobbies. You can get a coach to help you and master your craft or whatever hobby you're working on. I know, Neville, you're going to need a basketball coach if you're going to face me one-on-one.
No, I'm going to get it on video for everybody to see what I do to you.
All right. As long as it's not in without any light, playing at dark with no net in Mexico, I'm good to go.
Okay, we'll go to a nice spot in South Beach.
Let's do it.
Hey, all agency owners invited.
Yeah, we'll do a meetup for sure. This is a really good question. And by the way, who's loving this? Can I get a thumbs up? This is so much value. Like, I am honestly blown away by these guys and just super grateful that they're here. Victoria, were there any traits or habits that you had when you were starting off that you have taken with you to 100K? Like, are there any things that you were like, that were part of who you are that you still do today?
Yeah, definitely my habits. So like you said, whether it's waking up early, if that's your jam, that's my jam. Or if it's, just having a structured day like Neville does, whatever it is, your habit, like make your life around your schedule. Whatever works for you, just make sure you have a schedule. And I'm a very scheduled person. So I feel like that's been a key to my success. It's just like, this is the way I do things and I stick to it. And when I close my laptop, I'm done. And I think sometimes that's really hard for entrepreneurs is we don't know when to stop because our business is 24/7. So we close our laptop, we go into the living room to hang out with our loved ones. And we're texting on Facebook, right? We're still, we're at the dinner table, but we're on Facebook, right? And we're not shut off entirely, but it's okay to turn off. It's okay to say, you know what, I'm done for today. Those messages can wait for tomorrow morning. And I think that has been a big thing for me that I've kept. And I used to feel really bad. If someone would message me on Facebook, I'd want to respond really quick right away. But now I've gotten a lot better of like, that doesn't fit in my lifestyle. If I want to, I will, but I don't feel bad anymore. And that's the most important thing. I think that we beat ourselves up as entrepreneurs of like, oh man, I have to be on and I have to be hustling 24/7. And we don't give ourselves breaks. Like you said, Joel, like we don't allow ourselves to partake in our hobbies. We think we have to constantly be on, but we work hard if you are working hard during the time when you're working, right? So
Exactly.
You deserve to like shut your laptop and be like, it's after 5 or it's after 6 and people are messaging me and I don't feel bad about not responding. If I want to respond, I will, but I don't have to because my workday is over. I'm done for today. And just mentally allowing yourself, giving yourself that permission. Because if you don't, guys, that's going to be more mentally draining for you than it already is. Like how many times you're like, I'm done for today. Or you tell yourself, oh, you know what? I'm going to get this done. Like I'm just going to work for another hour later tonight to get this one thing done. But you never get it done, but it's on your brain the whole rest of the night. So you actually have all this mental anguish of not doing that one thing when you could have just been like, you know what? I'm consciously choosing not to do that one thing. I'm going to do it tomorrow morning because I'm going to enjoy my evening. Right. So what I would just say by that is have boundaries for yourself of like, this is what I'm not going to allow into my life. And I'm not going to feel bad about it because like, as we talked about, Jared talked about, it's about enjoying the journey. It's about enjoying your life. Like when I had that aha moment and I realized like, this is never going to go away. This is my new normal. So I need to find a way to make my new normal work for me, enjoy the journey. So I'm not dying all the way to the end because guess what? There is no end. It just keeps going and going and going. So find a way to enjoy your life.
I love that. I think you definitely had that ever since even I met you, Victoria. You were really good at setting good expectations and having those boundaries and knowing your worth. Like I remember you telling me about going to do like the booths at events to get real estate clients.
Yeah.
And even then you were like, this is what I bring to the table. What if you want it? Awesome. If you don't, oh, well. And you were just really good about essentially respecting yourself, I think is what it comes down to, and not letting the business take over you.
Yeah.
All right.
I have to go.
No,
but
no
thank
worries.
you guys so much. It was
Victoria,
such a
you're freaking
pleasure.
amazing. I
Thank
appreciate
you so
you.
much. You guys are awesome. Honestly, you 100K guys. Thank you, Luis,
100
Jared.
figure. I don't know if we'll
George,
get there.
100K a month, guys. I mean, you're awesome and amazing. And thank you, Joel, for having me. It's such a pleasure to be a part of your 7-figure family. I truly feel like it's a family.
Yeah, of course. Thank you so much for coming, Victoria. Appreciate
All
you.
right. Bye, guys.
All right, Jared, this is a great question for you. And then I got a special announcement at the end, so please do not leave. But we got one last question. And Jared, this is perfect for you. I just got to find it. Okay. When you're at 100K, what cool, fun, or strategic things can you pay for that's a business expense?
Oh man.
I know you have a lot.
Trips to Mexico, villa, hook. No, I'm kidding.
Don't say anything. Keep it PG, Jared. All right.
I'm learning from Omir, man. I'm sorry. He's indoctrinated me.
Omir's not the person you want to learn to be PG from, by the way. Bad mentor.
Company cars. I'm looking at getting a new car, so excited about that. So, but to be honest with you,
skydiving, doing ads.
Skydiving, do that in ads. That's a marketing expense. Going to the shooting range, that's a marketing expense. When I go horseback riding, that's a marketing expense because I take a picture of me on the horse, and that might be an ad. So, but to be honest with you, just constantly reinvesting back into the
inner circle.
Yeah, inner circle. But at the end of the day, reinvesting back into the business, putting a lot of money back into crypto. I'm not really splurging too much. I try to keep it on the low.
Cool. Well, guys, thank you so much. Really, really appreciate having you guys here. If you're still watching, can you please drop some ones and show some love to all these people that came today to share and give so much away with really nothing in return. So I really, really appreciate you guys for being here, and can't wait to see you guys hit 250K a month, 500K a month. And then eventually, I know George's trying to get to that 10 million a year mark. So you'll be hitting those numbers real soon. Value.
I'll see you guys in the next one, and make sure you guys select one of these videos that the YouTube algorithm just hand selected for you. See you guys.